Okay. How did you end up in prison?
I tried to quit.
To be honest.
Honestly. I tried fair and square at first.
Honestly, what is that?
I'll tell you now.
Come on.
We got the order when the war started. I already wanted to quit when the war started. Then an order was issued that contracts would be automatically extended. When I was already put in prison, there were those who had already run out of contracts, but they continued to work. They can't go anywhere because that's the law. One for everyone.
Yes, they extended contracts. Before I forget, there's a question. What do your authorities and your fellow soldiers say about the war in general?
Our people say that, well, we don't need all this at all, and many even chatted with the guy saying, damn, if they had sent me, I would have refused. Why the hell do I need to go to war?
And those in power, or haven't you heard them?
No, how they plan it, I honestly don't even know.
Yeah, got it.
In order to quit, I first tried to open IE, this is individual entrepreneurship. I even transferred money specifically through IE so that I would be seen that I was supposedly working. I brought it to my boss and showed it to him.
And how does this affect your dismissal?
It is
As
forbidden.
a military man, you don't have the right to...
Economic activity.
And so I brought him reports. He said, well, okay, go on, work. And then...
So you intentionally violated the instructions so
Yes.
that this would be grounds
Yes.
for your dismissal. Have you ever said that if you quit your job, you will be immobilized and you will go to war?
No, I didn't think about it. I actually wanted to just study to be a programmer, even at some university. Work in peace, don't meddle in this area, and don't get involved with anyone.
How did you want to become a programmer?
Well, at that point I was already starting to quietly learn Python.
Python.
And then I wanted to find a job.
In short, you didn't succeed.
I have many of my friends got jobs and worked like that.
I see. In short, it didn't work with IE.
Yes.
What are the next
After
attempts?
the IE, I was given 2 reprimands for this. They say you should be fired for 3 reprimands. But then I realized from another person who was given 3 reprimands that you can't be fired for a reprimand. And so I stopped at 2. I just took a working car with a flashing light, with all the equipment, with these special numbers. I left it right outside my house and went to bed at home and waited for my boss to call me. There was even a case. I didn't do it on purpose, it just happened that way. I worked in the morning at 5 in the morning, I finished at 9 in the morning, and I had to work on the same machine, but I had to work at 4 in the afternoon. Well, from 9 to 4, a lot of time. I think, well, I'll park the car at home, rest a little while there's time. Where should I run? In the end, I left the car, set the alarm for the 3 o'clock, woke up and saw that the car was gone. It turned out that later my boss took my car, stole it, and took it to the garage. I called him again. He started threatening me. Why are you lying to me? Your car was probably stolen, and so on.
He wanted to prank you.
Yes.
Pranked.
I got a second reprimand for that, but you can't get fired for reprimands. And after that, by the way, I've never used anything in my life. But here I even had to smoke weed specifically to get fired. And,
So did the test show drugs?
yes,
So
medicine suit me just fine. We have a medical checkup there once a year. We go through it at the FSS clinic. I smoked on purpose before this, came to this FFS clinic, walked right up to where they give tests and say, take a drug test from me, I use drugs. And they tell me that this is no longer a reason for dismissal. Now they don't fire people because of this. In short, they refused.
what are you talking about? You smoked for nothing?
Yes, in general. So what the joke? I smoked and just went to bed. Well, so as not to understand what would happen. I've never smoked, just so as not to know
It's
what
about
would
to
happen to
start.
me.
Don't smoke.
So, and then, well, I understand that the hospital just sent me away. I called my boss and said, well, I smoked weed. He told me to come. I arrived, he gave me a jar, I peed in it, he checked, yes, it showed drugs. Well, he says, well, go rest. You have to go to work tomorrow. Then I started to panic.
organization.
I just didn't understand what to do.
That is, the entrance is 1 ruble and the exit is not even 2 and there is no exit at all.
Not at all.
So,
I thought about it later. They even offered me, they said, take someone, a disabled person, into your care, like that you will look after him and then you will be fired, that you can't work, you don't have time. But I didn't go down so such extremes. I didn't have time, so to speak, to go down to any more extremes, because I had already been fired from work.
tell us.
I just get into my car on a day off, start driving away, drive literally 100 meters, and the police stop me.
Who's stopping you? Traffic police?
Traffic police.
Do they have the right to stop you? Oh, wait, you were in your car or in
On
your
my
work
own.
car?
The traffic police stopped me, then two guys in masks ran up and said, "Open the car, we need to search it," all that nonsense. I say, "Well, come on, I don't have anything." I start showing everything, there's nothing. He start crawling and takes a big package under the car. He asked me what it is, but how I know what it is. Then as turned out it was a kilogram of drugs.
A kilo?
A kilo. That's it. And that's it, I got locked up for it. I was locked up for 4 months, whereas as I take two people, most of the time it takes 8 months plus months to complete a
Yes.
drug investigation.
Yes.
I was close not in 8 months, but in 3 months.
The sentence
After
was
3
in 3
months,
months.
I was locked up in one court session, despite the fact that under this article the term is from 15 years to life.
The volume of drugs is very large.
Yes, it could have been
In
a life
this article
sentence.
228,
Yes, part 5.
what do you have? Attempted drug trafficking?
Because yes, it was an attempt because I supposedly didn't sell them. And the judge wrote to me in the end, but they have no evidence against me, no fingerprints, no photos, nothing. And at the end, the judge wrote in the sentence that the lack of evidence was the result of the criminal's careful conspiracy.
You hide it professionally, of course.
The lack of evidence is
Careful is secrecy.
Well, in the normal world, which the Russian Federation no longer belongs to, lack of evidence is grounds of not issuing a guilty verdict. And in the Russian Federation, the lack of evidence is a consequence of the careful
Yes.
concealment of this evidence. Okay, where do you think that kilo of drugs came from under the bottom of your car?
Well, as I assumed, I'm almost 100% sure that it was them, because after I was detained, almost the boss, the general, came to me right away. He said, "Well, go to prison or go to war." That's what they told me right away. Choose, you'll either sit in jail or go to
So?
war. That's it. Well, I sat there for 4 months and then signed a contract for the war.
Why do you think they did this to you?
Well, because I wanted to quit, because they didn't like that I started screwing up. Well, I tried to quit in all these ways.
They decided to teach you a lesson.
would you like to say hi to them?
No.
Okay. How much did they give you? 9 years?
9 years.
Where did you start serving your sentence?
Nowhere.
You signed a contract in the pretrial
Yes.
detention center.
You were on trial for 3 months.
Yes. Then for a month, everything came into effect.
Yes, 4 months. And you left right away.
Yes, I left straight from the pretrial detention center.
That's also a violation because, wait, you were supposed to be released on parole.
This is, well, when you go to war, it's like a conditional early release.
Did you sign the document?
Yes.
Was there a trial?
Court? Yes, yes.
In order for you to be free.
No.
There was only one trial.
It's a violation because a lot of the prisoners from Stern B who go not on pardon but on parole, they're required to sit a minimum of 6 months in the penal colony. And that is, you can go to the SMO only after serving at least 6 months minimum. In relation to him here for sure, but it's also all illogical. If they found a kilogram on him, he should have been given life imprisonment.
The first time they don't give
yes,
you
he
a
has
life
no previous
sentence.
convictions, and this is because this article, after all, is an attempt to sell. That is a more lenient
You
sentence.
didn't write an appeal.
Countless. In court, the microphone was immediately turned off. I started saying that I was not guilty, that there was no evidence at all, the case was fabricated, and they simply turned off my microphone.
They just ignored you, right?
That was
Yes.
the last word, right?
Yes. I was judged. One judge came to me in general, the prosecutor, he was a general. He came to me himself later after he said that we should give him a 9-year sentence, and the judge later gave me 9. He came up to me, he wasn't even sitting when I made the announcement, he had already left before that. I mean, he knew how it was going to be. And then he says to me, well, you know yourself, either go to war or sit in prison.
So your choice is simple. 9 years in prison for a kilogram of drug that you never even
Yes.
saw, or a special military operation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you sign the contract, you go on what's called a special military operation. What did your journey from St. Petersburg to the front line look like?
We arrived, they gathered us, and we arrived in Voronezh.
Stop. Another important point. When were you locked up? When were you imprisoned? What date? When was the verdict handed down, and when did you leave the pretrial detention center so that we maintain
On November
chronology?
28th, I was closed.
2023.
Yes.
Yeah.
On February 27th, I was already convicted. There was one session, and I was locked up.
That is, in reality, is one meeting.
Yes.
Have you
They
been
read
sentenced?
everything to me in one session and never seen it once. The verdicts and never seen come on.
Dima, you don't understand.
It can't be. How long did the meeting last?
I don't know, for a long time. Well, it was just me, the prosecutor, and a lawyer.
State lawyer.
Yes, state. I realized that it was pointless.
And what did the lawyer say?
Well, he said, good luck.
Good luck at SMO.
Yes. He said in the SMO, I know a lot of people who are alive there. Everything
So he
fine with
prepared
them.
you right away.
Yes. There were also people at the trial. There was only one FSS officer, and that's it. There were no cops, no one like people who are watching the trial. There were no witnesses, no one. There was only one FSS officer in court, and that's it.
How long was your trial?
I don't know, for a long time, but they repeated it all for a very long time, but they also read it all over again, read it over. It was probably 4 hours, even more.
In short, from an employee of an elite organization to 9 years in prison, the distance is 4 hours in one session.
From the special forces to the prison in 4 hours.
I haven't heard anything like that yet, because there should be a
You should have this. We have a
preliminary
progressive
hearing
country.
first. Outrageous, this is progressive.
Yes, everything is clear here. A kilogram of drugs, everything is
By
clear.
the way, I also really like that they didn't want to fire me, but how they did it all. They fired me retroactively on the 24th, November 24th. They fired me for IE.
As
It
you can
worked.
see, you managed to quit because of IE. It was not in vain. So good.
So, February 27th is the verdict.
On April 10th, I already signed and left.
And when were you captured?
May 10. In a month.
From FSP to prisoner of war through a criminal record?
Everything has changed so
Incredible.
dramatically in 4 months. What was your journey from St. Petersburg to the front like?
We reached Voronezh.
Were there a lot of you traveling?
There were 32 people on our bus.
So,
We were taken to Voronezh to the shooting range. There we joined up with the other guys from another city, from another prison. And by truck, we're on our way to Rogova, where there was a training camp.
Rogova.
Rogova. Zaidarovka. They train us there for a month. They train us every day.
this is Ukraine, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is LPRD now.
Yes. DPR-LNR. There we trained for a month. We train every day without days off. And I washed myself only twice in a month. We practice from 5-6 in the morning. We practice like that until 9 at night. Then we just go to bed, go to sleep.
What unit did you end up in? Who was the commander there?
Our commander was Gray, as we were told.
Great.
Division, yes, Gray.
You don't know the last name.
They-
It's coming.
Didn't tell us anything. We didn't know where we were until the very end. We only found out where we were when we actually got there. Regiment 237, Storms and Squad B. We were there. Black Mambas and Fixes.
Black Mamba, I guess what that means. Black Brothers.
No, these are ours too.
Why Black Mamba then?
Well, that's what they wanted to call
What
themselves.
about the fixes?
The Fixes are also...
Do you see what kind of comedians they are?
It just happened that way. There were just some prisoners there, some there, some to us. They were divided
was the
into
name
3
of your
divisions.
unit?
We called it Riker.
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 Rika.
And they explained to us later this was some kind of Russian warrior, a very valiant one.
Rika, Black Mamba, and Fixes.
Yes.
Like this.
Team to save the world.
And then we...
Riker is some kind of warrior. It's like the Russian version of Knight. Get it? Whoa, there was probably one of our guys who was really created there. Say hello to them.
When they were already sending us to die on the 9th.
That's a normal way to call an assault
And
operation.
it didn't have any illusions.
When they showed us everything was immediately clear there.
certain
They didn't
death,
even
huh?
lie to us. They simply told us, you get on the BMP, drive into the enemy trenches. There's a forest belt there like this. Yours, well, Ukrainian. Our nearest forest belt, our cover is 1 kilometer 700 meters from us, and they
Across the
abandoned
field.
us. And we were sent right here into the middle of an enemy forest clearing an
So?
infantry fighting vehicle.
Oh, they didn't even get there.
Yes,
How many of you went?
250 approximately.
Human.
Yes, in the first hour there were 15 of us left.
Glory to Russia next.
We captured...
But how? Wait a minute, 250 people, how many cars at that? It's quite a
Yes.
huge column. How many cars
No,
at
it
this?
wasn't all at once. They took us there in several stages.
Oh, so they brought you, threw you out, and then kept driving.
How many cars were destroyed then?
There was a tank. The first tank was driving. I don't know at all how this person agreed as suicide bomber. In general, everyone who agreed, they were all suicide bombers.
Were there any refusers?
I didn't see, and then the first tank was driving, and behind it, it turns out we were driving in
Yeah,
three
about
vehicles.
50 people.
There were 14 people per car, 2 squads, 7 per squad. There were squads, 7 people per squad. We were divided into groups. Of course, we didn't even get to this forest belt. First, they dropped us off in our forest belts. In our forest belt, all of us, by the time we got to the end of it, were all defeated. There were 15 of us left, and our BMP picked up us.
Of the 250 that were in the
Yes,
forest belt?
which were dropped in this forest belt. And we tell the commander there are 15 of us left. He replied,
Move
"Go
forward.
ahead, get on this BMP." We get on it and end up in the middle of an enemy forest belt.
What about the tank you were talking about?
And the tank just stopped there almost immediately. But then I asked the guys already in the Ukrainian ones, and this is what pleased me. I asked, do you at least hope that you finished off all of these BMPs? They say yes, they didn't miss a single one.
I say, damn, thanks.
Because there were even times when the BMP drivers themselves told us, we'll give you a lift, you'll have 10 seconds, you'll jump off, and everything will be fine, and we'll go back. As a result, it doesn't have time to stop and start spinning. There were so many people crushed.
Whoever fell from them, they immediately
They
hit
immediately
them, right?
started spinning. Myself was sitting and thinking about when I should jump, and it starts spinning. I grab onto this beam, which is specially against drones. I was holding onto this beam like this, I don't know, for a minute, maybe more. I was just hanging on it. I don't know how, but I held on. It was spinning, turning, rolling there.
How many people were crushed?
It didn't count, but in the last BMP, the one we drove in, 2 or 3 people were run over
Then
in front of
it's
me.
a scream, the meat starts right away, everyone's screaming, right?
Yes, and before that there were people crashed on the ground. And then there was fire from all sides, mortars, artillery. And I also really like it, thanks by the way to our Russian guys. This is when the Ukrainians were already saving us, taking us captive. We were already going deeper with them.
We were saved by the Ukrainians, pay attention.
Inverted formulations.
We were already going deeper there towards Ukraine, and our artillery was still shooting at us.
Well, just in case.
Yes, just in case, so that everyone gets there. When there were only 15 left, we just told our superiors that everyone was wounded. We only had 2 people left unharmed. All the others were wounded. I also have a leg, an arm, a head, and many others are also all damaged. We are reporting that we have literally 2 whole ones. He says, yeah, okay, let's go, you too, and who
Hooray!
else can walk more or less? Go to the next one, take this one, take the next trench, come on, storm.
How many of you are there?
No one went, we were all wounded, we were all lying down, we stayed in this dugout. The first one we took, we all lay in this dugout and waited. The offensive began at 3 a.m. and until 5 p.m. we sat there waiting for the Ukrainians.
In the end, well, that is to close the military history.
Yeah, go ahead.
How many of your people made it to the end? How you were captured? Who captured you? Because this is essentially also
In the
important.
end, we had 15 people left.
What direction was it that you stormed? Or you not know anyway?
They told me Guli, that's all I know.
Golly. Yes. After you were destroyed in the forest plantation, 200 people, 15 colleagues, as I understand it, in a tank and in an infantry fighting vehicle, you went, then tank was stopped immediately. Tell me about the last
Hours,
minutes.
yes.
Hours, well, beside the fact that you waited there for a long time
Well,
in the
it turns
trench.
out that when we got there in the BMP, it turned out they ran someone over and we started... They told us they were going to take you and go into battle. They didn't even tell us which way. In short, we arrived, we landed, and there was a forest belt. There it turned out to be left and right, but which way should we go? They dropped us off in the middle of the forest belt, and we jump out like this. Where should we go? Left or right? We thought for some time and started talking on the radios, and I really like those cool radios. I look at them so much. I always kept my distance from the platoon commander in the squad because he would just press to say something and immediately fly into it. That's why I stayed as far as it possible for people who had radios. So they started us with everything. Yes, Bofeng for 5,000 rubles is a cool thing. And
I think the radius is 100 meters.
And they started shooting at us from everywhere, from machine guns, from automatic grenade launchers. And as it turned out for me, it was already about 6 in the morning. By that time, we had already approached
In
there.
what time did the assault begin?
At 3 o'clock.
In short, 200 people were killed in 3 hours.
Yes. And so then they started shooting at us specifically. Everyone was already wounded, their legs were broken. When I drove into the forest belt, I was fine. I didn't have a single wound yet. Also, most of us had already died in our forest belt. So I drove there, and I was immediately hit in the leg by a mortar. After they bandaged me, all of my people immediately abandoned me. They saw that I had fallen, and I was thrown back by a wave. There, my leg immediately started to flow blood. The guys look at me, wishing me luck and
happiness, else. Take care of yourself.
Yes. The guys went further into the forest belt, and I don't know if it was adrenaline or something. I just jumped to my feet because my leg was injured, and I ran after them. There I already bandaged myself, applied this kind of tourniquet. I had
a turnstile.
I put a tourniquet on myself. Yes, it seems to have stopped more or less. I found 2 trees there. We all just lay down in the forest belt because we didn't know what to do anymore, because bullets were flying from all sides and machine gun was shooting.
They lay down.
I found 2 trees that were being enough for my head, and I put my head in one tree and my feet in the other, and I lay like that for about 4 hours just praying. I just wish it would all be over sooner. And how did it work there? They shoot. The fire stopped. There was complete silence. Someone would say something on the radio again, and then this boom, boom, boom would start again. And silence again, then someone something again. I just didn't understand. They understand that all this was because of this. And again, they start saying again. Branches were constantly falling over my head. A bunch of drones were flying. I kept thinking that now some drone would fly to me. Somehow I held out, and then one of our guys came out. The one who was still intact.
Whoa.
He took the trench single-handedly.
Whoa.
There, as I understand it, you simply retreated further away on purpose. Why being
Yes.
They threw us in there, and just started shooting at us from
Well,
everywhere.
by took you mean that he went into
Yes.
an empty
He
trench?
came there, yes.
Well, he just came there.
He came there, yes, and when it became more or less quieter, we all moved there to him, those who were walking or not.
How many feet there?
15 people, no more. There were still 17 people at that moment.
How many of them were not wounded?
2, I think, yes.
And by the way, they all ended up getting injured as well. One had his arms broken, and one had, as we were told later, he was lucky. He was concussed, and a piece of shrapnel hit him right near the heart, a little higher, right next to it. Not a trump, but what is the correct name? Well, or trump?
Near a blood vessel.
Yes, and
of
they
any
say it
kind.
literally hit him on the shoulder, and he will die. The fragment will
What
move.
happened next?
And so from about 8 o'clock we sat and waited until 5 in the evening for the Ukrainians to come for us. We went out before this 1-2 hours right to these Sergeys and Savas and so on, to all these commanders. We say, we have all these wounded people, help. Will there be some support? Will someone else come? Will there be any help at all? They were like, yes, go and take them. Here are the trenches. Whoever is there is still alive. And that's it. They changed the radio station, and that's it. We were constantly being fired up on. There were Polish mortars about which we were told that they never hit the same place twice, that everything was crooked, everything was askew. As a result, we had our dugout. There were 2 passages there, and the shrapnel was constantly flying right into these passages.
How were you captured?
Here they are already. Well, it's already evening, and what we were thinking of doing. We thought we would sit until it got dark, and we would leave at night. We had only one option: to crawl across the field to
return?
our position.
You installed the tourniquet. In theory, you couldn't feel your leg anymore.
I listened to it later. I didn't have much bleeding. My leg got away with it easily, but in my arm, my vein was cut well. My arm was immediately all bloody, well, and the guy there helped me. They bandaged it. It was already there.
There are 17 of you wounded. What happens next?
They bomb us. We are still thinking what to do. There is no water, no provisions, no food, no backpacks, no bullets. We had 3 guns and 3 magazines left.
For 17
For
people?
17 people.
Fine.
And these guns, one jammed after every shot. We constantly reloaded it just to scare people that we were supposedly still alive. We were still ready.
Now let's give battle.
Yes. And then there was bombing and bombing. We thought it would get dark, night would come. We would crawl there quietly, but we realized that there would still be a drone there. As far as we know, there is some kind of interval when UAV is obtained, the drones are changed.
Shift.
The shift is gone with a thermal imager with a night one, and we thought about crawling at that time, but damn, we didn't wait.
Kind of smart.
Well, at least there was one option to try
so
to
what
survive.
happened?
In the end, we didn't make it. We didn't wait for the time. At 5 o'clock in the evening, the Ukrainians came to us. They also started throwing everything everywhere, but we had already started shouting
Did you give up?
that we are giving up, yes.
How many people were ultimately captured?
We started to surrender, and I was among the first to surrender. There were a couple more guys, and at the very end, 2 started shooting back. There was 1 soldier from Wagner. Another guy, they started shooting back together at the end. Also, they were the initiators of the surrender. They were the very first ones who suggested surrendering, but in the end, they were the very last ones to come out and started shooting
And they
back.
died?
No, one was taken captive, as I understand it. His machine gun jammed, or he ran out of bullets, and the second one shot himself.
Shot himself.
Shot himself.
In the end, they took 16
Yes,
people.
well, a lot of people were taken straight to the hospital because many of them had their arms completely broken and some had something else.
Well, suicide.
Well, that's very difficult to do. I don't know.
Who took you captive?
In captivity. Honestly, they didn't introduce themselves to us. The guys were normal. They even let us smoke and drink water. They immediately brought us a 5-liter bottle. We drank water normally because we hadn't had drink for a long
Good
time.
guys, handsome. Imagine 17 prisoners at
Yes,
once.
they gave us something to smoke and then feed us.
16. 1 shot himself.
16.
They gave us a smoke and some food, and they gave us a ration.
So you ate for the first time that day?
Yes, not even for a day. I haven't eaten since the 9th because they were driving us back and forth. The 9th was already awesome holiday. They made us dig trenches. I dug 2 trenches as tall as I was. I had a great time, and after that I went straight to war.
So, we have essentially reached the part of the RVC commander. When did you decide, why the hell do you need all this? I'm not interfering anymore.
Well, not exactly. Not interfering.
Yes, I mean,
In general, I thought about it initially when I was in prison. When all this happened, they set me up. My government abandoned me, and I made the final precise decision when they sent me to die by my own people.
I have to ask, you say while still in prison you thought you knew about RVC, or what you remembered about
I
yourself
heard,
in
but
general?
initially, for some reason, I heard that you were from St. Petersburg.
Yes, I'm from Moscow.
For some reason, I received information that you were from St. Petersburg.
Where did the information come from?
People are talking.
They say in prison.
Do they really talk in prison about the existence of such a RVC, and what do they
Yes.
say?
Well, nothing bad or good. Generally, they say that in principle everyone is wrong and everyone is guilty. But as I think from what I have seen over the whole time, only one side is wrong here. And that even for how long we have been here, I was in ordinary villages here in captivity. Just every day there are fights to ordinary villages. Just ordinary people, citizens living, definitely not some kind of military units and so on, just ordinary people.
In ordinary houses, in
Yes.
ordinary villages.
And even look, the same Avdiivka, Bakhmut and so on, they simply turned into a field.
To Stalingrad, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Modern war, right?
Yes.
High tech.